This is Algebra 1, Semester 2. It's the 5th unit called Equations Review. This one is the 5th lesson, One-Step Equations Practice. It's on creatormath.com under the Algebra 1 tab. You might have to type into Google creatormath.weebly.com to find the page. The instructions are copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. So if we're over here and we're looking for, here's the way to find it, creatormath.weebly.com. Here's what the home page looks like. All right, and all the comp book stuff is on this home page, you guys. Go to Algebra 1. This is all of the vocabulary and including the complete list of vocabulary. Let's go to Semester 2. That's where we are right here. All of these table of contents should have been copied into your pages 2 through 6 of your composition book long ago. If you haven't done it already, stop what you're doing right now and do it now. So this is the equations review, and this is lesson number 5, one-step equations. There are some notes here, and here's the pages they go on. I'll show you that in 1 second. But if you open these up, so it'd either be the board or my notes. This is just some equation solving methods for one steps. Copy those in. We're talking about, a center line through the equals. We're talking about what you do to one side, you do to the other. We're trying to isolate the x and some other equation solving methods you need in your notes. It's nice to have things like what is a variable, what is an equation, what is a coefficient, what is an operation, what is an opposite operation, and what is our goal to isolate. Isolate means to get that x alone, right? Hope you can see that a little better there. It's a little bit hard to see. Get that from the notes, put them on the correct pages just to show you, go back. So this is number 5, one-step equations. Here are the page numbers in the comp book it goes on. Do not follow this video, but follow the actual table of contents on the website, because by the time you watch this video, it will probably be different. So let's see what they give us. They say solve the equation. 4 pi h equals 36 pi. Well, first things first. If we have the same value on both sides of an equation, we can cancel it. So we can get rid of these pi's. They're gone. We now have 4h equals 36, so that simplifies things a lot. If we divide both sides by 4, why? Because if you're multiplying here, the opposite operation is division. You're multiplying by 4, divide by 4. What you do to the left, you must do to the right. That gives you a 4 over 4 is 1. The h is now isolated or alone. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So h equals 9. H equals 9. Negative h equals 32. Solve for h. So negative 8h equals 32. Let me say that right. Divide both sides by negative 8. Negative 8 divided by negative 8 is 1. H equals 32 divided by 8. 4 times 8 is 32, and there's a negative. So we have a negative 4. The interesting thing, students get confused, well, is the negative on the bottom? Well, it's in the denominator position. That doesn't matter. The negative can slide all the way up. It can slide out here or into the top position as long as you don't duplicate it. There's a negative there. So, and you may say to yourself, well, isn't this a positive up top? Isn't a positive divided by a negative? So that might help you bring it out in the, right here in the final answer. I'm not sure what works for you, but figure that out. A negative in the denominator just as a negative of the entire fraction. Solve the equation. C minus 1.5 equals 1.1 plus 1.5 on both sides. Gone. C equals 2.6. All right, C equals 2.6. Solve the equation. Let's add 20 to both sides. Gone. S equals negative 19 plus 2 is a negative 17. Oh, you plus 20, and I get a 1. Wow. It's been a long day. There we go. Okay, so the equation, so d minus 9. Let's add 9 to both sides. We still have a d on the right. There's a center line right down here and equals here. And as long as I did the same number on both sides to remain balanced, negative 15 plus 9 will leave us with a, I'd like to say negative 6, right? So I think it's negative 6. So let's see. Add 9 to both sides. And it's going to be a negative 6. I think it should be negative 6 here. right, we're going to multiply both sides by 5. The 5 over 5 is 1. The k equals negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Why did we multiply? Because what was happening to the variable? It was being divided by a 5. What's the reverse operation of dividing by a 5, multiplying by a 5? What you do to the left, you now must do to the right. So we multiply both sides by 5. It disappears on the left. We isolate the k in this case, and we get a negative 20. Solve the equations. So we're going to divide this side by a negative 4. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. These disappear into 1, and h equals the negative is now a positive, and 32 divided by 4 is an 8. We're going to multiply both sides by negative 9. Negative 9 over negative 9 is 1. K equals 7 times 9 is 63, and there's a negative, so it's going to be a negative 63. Divide both sides by negative 9. H equals negative divided by negative is a positive, and 27 divided by 9 is 3, so positive 3. Multiply both sides. Can you still see it? Barely. Get this up higher. Multiply both sides by negative 10. Notice we keep doing the reverse operation of what's ever bugging the variable. In this case, it's a k. What we do to one side, we now must do to the other. This is a negative times a negative, so it's a positive 60, and this is gone. It's 1. 1 times k still leaves us with k. K equals 60. All right, what do we got here? Given the equation, this one, what is the first step in solving for h? Well, what we did, this is a repeat of what we started with. Equals 36 pi. We canceled the same thing on both sides. Cancel the pi from both sides because anything that appears on both sides of an equation can be canceled from both sides of the equation. The results are 4h equals 36. Check. All right, kind of weird. I guess they're walking us through that process. Given negative 8x equals 36, what's the first step? Negative 8x equals 36. Well, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 8. And what's going to happen? Since this is, why do they call this a one step? Because once this is gone, 36 divided by 8, right, is positive. And let's just leave that as a negative 36 divided by 8. Okay. All right. Anyway, we're done. It's one step because one step and we're done. Right? That's why they call it a one-step equation. 2 steps and 3 steps, and multi-step equations will have more steps in them. Follow the title of this, Algebra 1, Semester 2. It's the 5th unit called Equations Review, and it's the 5th lesson called One-Step Equations Practice, and it's on creatormath.com under the Algebra 1 tab. Hope this helps.